हेलो एवरीवन। गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड इवनिंग ऑल। कैसे हैं सब लोग? मेरा नाम है अरविंद और हम हैं हैदराबाद बॉयज वेयर वी टॉक ऑल थिंग्स क्रिकेट। और हमारे साथ हैं सौरभ।
Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. We talk all things cricket, लेकिन last जो test match हुआ था, it wasn't cricket. It was possibly something else, and that's what we'll talk about. So,
Yeah, we will. Yeah, and if you notice कि मैं एक अलग लोकेशन पे हूँ because my background you can see it's not the usual. मैं आया हूँ Dallas for the weekend. And actually, one of the things sort of I'll be doing is the trip to the Grand Prairie Stadium later tonight to watch the MLC, the Major League Cricket 2023. मुझे tickets मिल गए हैं. We'll see. I
okay.
think San Francisco Unicorns versus Seattle Orcas. So Corey Anderson and the co. I think I'll get to watch some of those guys later today. But before we talk Major League Cricket, बात करते हैं जो एक और game हुआ जो few hundred mile, 1,000 miles down south of USA में.
Oh yeah, not too far away
Majorly
from your place.
not too far away from US in the land of Caribbean. India versus West Indies जो हुआ था I believe in Rossau, Dominica, if I remember right. और क्या ही बोले, हमने अभी बेसबॉल देखा जो एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट था क्रिकेट का, और जो इंडिया और वेस्ट इंडीज ने प्रोवाइड किया है वो है एंटी बेसबॉल, which is
Bore ball.
don't watch cricket.
Bore
We
ball. Bore.
bore ball, which is like we don't want you to watch test match, we want you to stick away to IPL. No, but on a very serious note, it was India won the game, but it was such a disappointing game to watch with. मैंने यहाँ क्रिकेट को शेयर किया and here is the scorecard. वेस्ट इंडीज ने पहले बैटिंग करी. I actually don't even know who won the toss. I'm guessing West Indies won the toss and took the bat, I guess. Um, क्या ही बोले, 150 ऑल आउट इन 64 ओवर्स. अलिक अतानेजा ने ही हाईएस्ट स्कोर मारा है. बट द टॉकिंग पॉइंट रियली इज रविचंद्र अश्विन जो WTC में फाइनल पे थे ही नहीं. He was busy shooting his YouTube videos and he's a YouTube we all know he's a YouTube sensation. उन्होंने और रविंद्र जडेजा ने 8 विकेट लिए between them. And they bowled out of 64 overs, they bowled 38 overs. And in response, India batted 150 overs. And Yashasvi Jaipal, I mean, credit to him, the boy, debut, first innings, century on debut, 171 on debut. Batted throughout the day on debut. मतलब सारे रिकॉर्ड एक ही टेस्ट में उन्होंने कवर कर लिया है. रोहित शर्मा back in runs, 103, another century from him. विराट कोहली ने 76 मारा है of 182 balls. Yeah, India batted only once, 421 for 5, run rate of 2.7. I think वेस्ट इंडीज ने सारी टीम को बॉलिंग का मौका दिया. 9 bowlers have bowled in the West Indies team. मानना पड़ेगा जुमेल वैरिकर ने 45 overs मारे of that 152. He's bowled 45 overs, man. And yeah, I think the wicketkeeper, and I don't know which only other bowler did not bowl. I think it was एक तो जोशुआ डिसिल्वा है और I guess चंद्रपाल. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
कोच और ग्राउंड स्टाफ ही रह गए थे.
And then West Indies in 50 overs has wrapped up the game. Credit to themselves, they wanted to go more. Thankfully, they have spared us the torture. 130 all out, but again, the star has been Ashwin. Of the 52 overs, 42 overs, 50 overs, 42 overs were bowled by spinners. Ashwin had 7 for 71. He ends the match figures with 12 wickets and 131 runs. And India has won the game by innings and 141. Yashasvi Jaiswal on his debut has picked up the man of the match. But क्या कहें इस गेम इसका मतलब yes Yashasvi Jaiswal's 171 and Ashwin's 12 wickets but is this the kind of advertisement India wants to provide, and is this the kind of advertisement West Indies wants to provide? Is something we probably have to debate a bit. But this was a bit of a हमने दो ashes देखे हैं अभी और this was basically anti ashes and
Yeah.
I tried watching. I could not after a point. It's not that हम IPL को use हो गया और हमें 500 चाहिए. It's not about that. But यहाँ पे विराट कोहली and Rohit Sharma were facing West Indies bowlers of Varikan and कौन थे वो Kemar Roach and Cornwall. They're not exactly Stark and
Cummings, Anderson,
Hazelwood or Anderson or Ollie, no Anderson and all that. Robinson. So, क्या कहे इस Indian team का? Do I praise them for winning, or do I bash them for giving us such a bad view of Test cricket that I actually don't want them to watch Test. Don't want to watch Test cricket. What?
I think I must have watched 20 to 25 overs of it, and I think 2.5 to 3 days it Test match हुआ है. I did watch all the 3 days. Unfortunately, very very difficult to watch. मतलब I mean I have watched a lot of Test cricket और मैं काफी सालों से देख रहा हूँ, so I'm not only used to Bazball.
Yeah.
Lekin this was very difficult viewing. I mean, this was almost watching a Rakhi Sawant movie. I mean, to be very very honest. I mean, पता नहीं Rakhi Sawant की कम movie आई है, लेकिन yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. यार ये क्या देख रहा हूँ मैं? मेरे को ये भी समझ में नहीं आया कि what did West Indies cricket board served? I mean, first day में ही अगर I mean, you just gave the stats, right? I mean, 80-90% of the overs in the first innings are if it's been bowled by Indian spinners. Were they playing in Delhi or Nagpur or some Indian subcontinent pitch, or they were playing in West Indies per se? I mean, if they couldn't serve a bowling friendly pitch, I mean green grass या फिर bounce वगैरह, at least they could have served a flat deck. लेकिन वो भी नहीं था. I mean, they served up a subcontinent pitch. Oh, boy, subcontinent pitch कैसी यार? I mean, it was almost like the pitches that Indian team has basically been choosing to play in recently. So, which was very very surprising. So that was the first thing with जो जो मुझे लगा on the first day, and I mean I wasn't expecting West Indies to score a lot, to be very very honest. जैसे मैंने pitch report देख लिया. I think pitch report भी नहीं. I remember एक दिन पहले ही pitch के थोड़े फोटो वगैरह आ गए थे, and it just looked like कि यार अगर इंडिया ने मैच जीता, टॉस जीता, और या फिर जिसने भी जो भी कुछ हुआ, it's the result is going to go in India's favor. तो 150 और उन्होंने फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में मारे. कुछ nothing significant to speak about as far as their batting is concerned. 421 इंडिया ने मारे. I think you got to give it to Yashasvi Jaiswal. उनका फर्स्ट इनिंग्स था ये टेस्ट. उनका फर्स्ट टेस्ट मैच था. Leave the first innings aside. First test match था. So you got to give that leverage to him. मेरा ज्यादा कंसर्न था रोहित शर्मा. Even to the matter of fact, Mr. Virat Kohli की मैंने innings थोड़ी देखी थी, and he was very lucky on couple of occasions where he didn't get out actually. I think Craig Brathwaite ने उनका catch छोड़ा था, and he scored very very scratchy 76. I think he scored his first boundary of 81 balls. So it kind of reminded me of those that Rahul Dravid के थोड़े innings हैं, and it kind of comes up in YouTube जहाँ पे उन्होंने first run mara 40 ball pe. So it kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if you have want to say something.
No, yeah, what I wanted to say was, we are not against. I want to tell our audience, we are not against slow run rate batting. Test cricket is supposed to play, sometimes defensive. But यहाँ पे दो चीजें जो मैंने थोड़ा देखा था, ऐसा नहीं है मैंने कुछ भी नहीं देखा, मैंने थोड़ा देखा था, कोशिश करी थी मैंने. आप खेल रहे हो स्लो पिचेस पे और आप फेस कर रहे हो वेस्ट इंडीज की बैटिंग बॉलिंग जो इट्स नॉट अ टॉप 5 टीम इन द वर्ल्ड. इट्स slidden down to so far down. They had to play qualifier in the World Cup. it's not no longer a top-rated team. I mean,
Right.
no offense to Bangladesh here, it's basically Bangladesh of 90s. When Bangladesh was trying into the test matches, they lacked experience. Bangladesh back then they were trying to get into the foothold of that. अच्छे players थे, but they were not, they were trying to get into it. मुझे ये लगा था कि West Indies team is like youngsters. These are breaking into the newer generation. एक दो ही थोड़े experienced players हैं. So and you said 76 is scratchy 76. I expected a better style of batting. अगर ये fast pitch होती, green grass, bouncy tracks like old school Sabina Park, Jamaica में जहाँ पे you had Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh, आपको दे रहे हैं and you can't even play a ball, let alone score runs.
Then make
understandable यार. अब आपने 75 मारा 200 and 150 balls में और 180 balls में. Yes, you are navigating some really good bowling and in a difficult track. It's neither the case. So, and you rightly said, scratchy batting, it masks the weakness of the team, even though India won by innings run.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'll not praise India here a lot, except Yashasvi Jaiswal. First innings, first match. वो उनका जो performance था, we have always seen him in an IPL environment, and he's got and tried to that test. Sure, उन्होंने रणजी खेला है, उन्होंने इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट में टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्टाइल खेला हुआ है, तो वर्ल्ड ने नहीं देखा है, तो great for him. But I will not appreciate Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli's performance there for the kind of batting they have played.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand, slow pitch है, it's going to take some time for you to settle down. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कम से कम 100 बॉल खेलने के बाद, 150 बॉल खेलने के बाद, you got to break free somewhere. I mean, थोड़े तो आपको स्ट्रोक्स खुल के कहीं ना कहीं पे जाके तो खेलना पड़ेगा, लेकिन वो कहीं दिखाई नहीं, वो इंटेंट नहीं दिखा मुझे कहीं ना कहीं. I know रोहित शर्मा ने 2-3 छक्के लगाए, लेकिन पता नहीं. I mean, possibly, we're reading too much out of it. Possibly pitch बहुत slow थी, लेकिन I could just see the intent lacking from the Indian batsmen. तो उन्होंने 420 रन बना दिए. I mean, it was game over. I wasn't expecting West Indies. अगर first innings में ही, on the day one they couldn't score a lot. I mean, day three में you couldn't expect them to be outscoring what they scored in the first innings, and that's what happened. I mean, Ravichandran Ashwin, possibly a slap on the Indian team management for not
lovely
selecting him in the WTC. I'm not really sure if that impacted the result per se, but yeah, it could have. But it could have made things interesting for sure. He has his number on few of the Australian players. So, but a slap on Indian management.
I loved Ashwin there. He gave it back in the manner how a cricketer should give it back. I'll finish with this. मुझे ये मैच देख के वही फुटबॉल के एनालॉजी आई है जो मैं दर्शकों को बता दूं. हमने वर्ल्ड कप देखा होगा, हमने सुना होगा लायनल मेसी एंड Sergio Aguero or the Lautaro Martinez of Argentina, and लगेगा and they're playing Iran or Algeria. No offense to them, they're good teams by the way, but you kind of expect Argentina will win 4-0 final, a silky smooth Lionel Messi touching and passing, and then Lautaro Martinez scoring a goal. This was a 1-0 victory of that. A drab, boring 90 minutes के बाद ये कब गेम खत्म होगा वाला फीलिंग है कि जीत गए बट ये भी कोई चीज. So that is like the analogy I can give for this one. It's a win. There are positives for Ashwin, for SSV as well, but I expect more. I expect more from this team of India against West Indies. Yeah, good luck to West Indies. I mean, nothing much to say about them. I would think any standout performances from them.
Nothing.
I think what's that guy? Alik Atanize. That's the one guy who survived. Bob.
I think the only standout performer from I think the only standout performer from the West Indies is the pitch creator. I mean, he needs to be found out and मतलब पूछना चाहिए यार क्या किया आपने मतलब ऐसी पिच बना के. Not that West Indies would have still fared well, लेकिन यार कम से कम you have made an interesting pitch. At least make a flat pitch.
Yeah. Agree.
और कुछ नहीं था.
Now, moving on, I think we had one more item I thought I could talk about. Major League Cricket got started in US today. Well, not today. 3 दिन हो गए अब तो. I thought I'd give a quick update on क्या हुआ है. So we had Texas Super Kings played against LA Knight Riders. I don't know दर्शकों ने देखा या नहीं होगा. उनके ड्रेसेस भी तो वही है. CSK का ड्रेस इज worn by Texas Super King. It's called TSK by the way. और KKR का जो outfit जो purple है, that's worn by LA Knight Riders, called LAKR by the way. Uh, so first game था 181 for 6. मतलब it was, I didn't see the game this time. I actually could not watch. मतलब हुआ नहीं था, but I think it's live in Sports 18 in India, and it's in a couple of networks across the world. Sports networks में आ रहा है, including Willow TV in US and Canada. 181 for 6. You had David Miller and Devon Conway, doing well for TSK. यहाँ पे अगर देखो जाएगा तो लॉकी फर्गुसन, सुनील नारायण and Adam Zampa. So your regulars have taken the wickets. LA हार चुका था, but there was an Andre Russell special 55 of 34. But really, no one else could perform. Like Martin Guptill and Riley Risco had there, but they really couldn't do it. Mohammad Mohsin, I think, is a local player. America का है, मतलब American. This thing. You had some known players like Dwayne Bravo, Mitchell Santner, and Rusty Theron playing for TSK. So TSK won the first game pretty convincingly. उसके बाद जो हुआ था, there was another one which happened, I think, yesterday, which was San Francisco Unicorns. They're playing MI New York. San Francisco scored 215. You had a big score from Corey Anderson, who we all knew एक जमाने में उन्होंने fastest century मारा था long back when he was, I think, with New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
2015, yeah. During the 2014-2015 World Cup, that era, I think that time frame. So he scored 91 of 52. So at a strike rate of 170. ये देखा जाएगा तो ये टीम बहुत अच्छी है. I don't know the rules. मैं आज जाके देखूंगा how does it work. It's Finn Allen, Matthew Wade, Marcus Stoinis, Aaron Finch, Corey Anderson, and Shadab Khan. And then you had a bowlers में Harris Ruff and Liam Plunkett. That is a world-class team. I'm not sure how the rules are of MLC के वो draft में कैसे होता है. I'll let you know in the next episode. आज मैं जाऊंगा तो I'll be having that information. Look at the bowling of MI New York. You got Bolt, Rabada, Kieran Pollard, and then Steven Taylor, and then Ehsan Adil. That's not a bad bowling lineup at all.
That's not a bad bowling, yeah.
And you had the team of MI New York. You had Devald Brewis, Steven Taylor, okay, Manak Patel is the local, Nicholas Puran, Keelan Pollard, Tim David. They all had starts, but it was a close game though. 193 मारा है. But that was a high scoring game जो ये हुआ था कल. और last game जो हुआ था, that happened yesterday last night, which was Matthew Short and Seattle Orcas versus Washington Freedom. You had Glenn Phillips, Moises Henrique, Marco Janssen, and Ruben Spinar. I think he's a South African. And Matthew Short. And you had Wayne Parnell, Imad Wasim in the bowlers who took Wasim. And I think Imad Wasim also scored 43. He got the man of the match for that one. But you also had Quinton de Kock and Shimron Hetmeyer. So, you are looking at IPL, IPL, BBL,
PSL.
The PSL, the Vitality Blast. If you look at it, this is the bowling line. Marco Janssen, Henrik Nokia, Moises Henrique, Saurabh Netravalkar used to play once upon a time for India under-19. He's been around an IPL previously. It's not that these guys are unknown. They're all known to quantities. They lost the game. Seattle Orcas won the game. Freedom lost the game, but it had a very interesting touch point. So मुझे लग रहा है कि this is helping the game of cricket here in this part of the country कि when known to players are going to come and they prioritize it, there could be a chance that the growth could happen. And मैं दो चीजें आपको बताना चाहता था. You can see the differences here. Sunil Narayan, this is an interesting story. He left the Vitality team game of Surrey for the finals, and he just ran directly flew down to Dallas. And the Surrey team was apparently frustrated that Sunil Narayan actually prioritized MLC, the US cricket, over the finals. And he just left from Birmingham to Dallas. So you can see where the cricketers are prioritizing. Obviously, यहाँ पे पैसा ज़्यादा होगा, but they left a very known to quantity like a Vitality Blast, which is an England का premier T20 competition, and they jetted across to um, the Major League Cricket MLC. और एक और चीज जो मैंने आज देखी थी न्यूज में, which is Steve Smith is probably going to play for Washington Freedom next year, because Washington Freedom has a partnership with New South Wales. You can see how the behind the scenes branding and the cricket academy's development and all that, linking you with the international clubs and states outside US and outside India. And apparently he's also the brand ambassador of Washington Freedom. Steve Smith is a very big star in cricket. He's a very big quantity in Indian IPL as well. And Indians know him a lot. So him coming to this thing would help. I think the youngsters and the academy players on the new the Washington Freedom. So I think what I'm trying to say here is they are trying to get stars. मुझे वैसा लग रहा है कि जैसे वो Saudi Arabia अभी कर रहा है फुटबॉल में, getting superstars into their pro league and trying to uplift it, or US tried to do it with David Beckham, trying to get these stars into Inter Miami and LA Galaxy and all others. They have the money, they have the branding, they have the power there to attract these players, and there's obviously there seems to be a market around it. So it was interesting. The contrast ये था कि जब मैंने ये न्यूज़ पढ़ा, Ambati Rayudu actually had to withdraw from Major League Cricket because BCCI is apparently proposing, or seems to be proposing, a cooling off period before they can join an overseas T20 league. I mean, you see the contrast, right? You had players who are coming in here, जो England के players आना जाते हैं, like Jason Roy, they all want to come here and they are looking to how do we negotiate with English Cricket Board. और यहाँ पे Ambati Rayudu had to be withdrawn, where BCCI, this is what they said. The follows BCCI proposal to year-long cooling off period for retired players before they can participate in overseas T20 leagues will be ratified at the BCCI AGM in this thing. And this is the concern. The BCCI is believed to be concerned around possibility of mass retirements by domestic players, all of whom were without contracts, to pursue opportunities elsewhere. Yeah. So his friends all left. So like Faf du Plessis, Kevon Conway, and Mitchell Santner, owned by N. Srinivasan, coached by Stephen Fleming, Albie Mocker as their coaches, which is Chennai Super Kings setup. And Ambati Rayudu had to be withdrawn because of what seems to be a proposal coming out of from BCCI here. And this is the rule here today, as for Indians, for people who pata nahi hai, Indian players can only feature in overseas T20 league only if they have retired from international cricket and the BCCI run tournaments such as IPL. Unmukh Chand is a good example, who was an under-19 World Cup winner, is a player who left Indian cricket to pursue opportunities. And he played around Big Bash for Melbourne, Bangladesh, and now he is here in LA, LA Knight Riders. So this is the kind of the news we are seeing here. एक ज़माने में आप क्रिकेट को improve करना चाहते हो, global लेना चाहते हो, stars हैं आपके पास, और एक on one other side, your biggest export is your Indian superstars. आपने ऐसे cooling off proposal दिया है.
I mean, I was just about to make a point that if cricket has to be big in USA and the entire North America as a region, possibly मैं बोलने वाला था. I mean, while you were making a point that possibly a player like Virat Kohli, I mean, I know it's difficult. अगर वो अपना presence ही feel करा दे in that tournament. I'm not talking about playing. I know RCB का कोई यहाँ पे कोई टीम नहीं है, लेकिन likes of Kohli या फिर Rohit Sharma, because Mumbai Indian है. I'm not even talking about playing. I think they should be allowed to play. If BCCI kind of thinks कि they want to be the torch bearer of spreading the sport and making it global, I think this is an ideal opportunity. And I think, I'm not really sure, I think the idea of protectionism, जो हम India में काफी time से is kind of infiltrated to BCCI and cricket as well. I think it's a little disappointing. I think जैसे आप देख रहे हैं Ambati Rayudu को भी allow नहीं कर रहा है. I think तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है कभी-कभी certain policies of BCCI.
I mean, the statement, the concern is they're concerned about mass retirements by domestic players. They're without contracts.
And I think
I mean,
मुझे
that is the
ऐसा
most bizarre I have heard. Like, they're without contracts, so they should not pursue other contracts because they cannot do it. But if BCCI
I
can throw
think
them off any amount of time, that for me is unbelievably bizarre.
मुझे लगता है कि just in case if MLC becomes big, थोड़ा बहुत भी, you know, let's say it becomes third or fourth biggest league in cricket, कहीं ना कहीं लगता है, I mean, ये जो protectionism चल रहा है BCCI का, it might backfire. मुझे लगता है कि मुख चांद जैसे निकले थे, हो सकता है कि थोड़े प्लेयर जिनको लगता हो कि there is very little chance of, you know, making big in Indian cricket,
Yeah,
let's
they'll
leave,
leave.
and they'll leave, and America would be all arms to take them up. So I don't know. I think BCCI is missing a trick here.
They are missing. I mean, I actually finding it bizarre that how can you grow the cricket brand in this country without having Indian cricketers in this place? It boggles my mind with the way the kind of stands they are put in here for the domestic players. And you're completely right. कल को कोई player जो मुंबई इंडियंस में क्रैक नहीं कर पा रहा है, he could say I'll go to Mumbai Indians, New York. Or Mumbai Indians could do that thing, you know, just like, you know, like football में जो होता है आज के जमाने में, every club has a parent club and an affiliate club. If a youngster is good potential, you know, it could be a future superstar, but can't crack to the top tier.
Absolutely.
They send him to a loan कि यार तू एक साल यहाँ खेल ले, get more exposure, get more experience, and if you're playing good, you're coming back to the main team. This could be the model Mumbai Indians or these other clubs who made these partnerships in these cities, in this, in these franchises could do is like, look, I think you're good, and I'm talking only domestic Indian players, not I'm talking international players here. Is go ahead and play this 3-week tournament for us in MI New York. If you do well, we'll give you a contract for MI Indians. Same thing with Texas Super King. Go and play well in Texas Super King. If you do well, you have a chance to get into a path forward to CSK. It could be used, but I'm surprised. I mean, if they think that concern is there, that means that people will start to leave. People are not gonna wait around it. A couple of guys could do it, more and more people could do it.
Absolutely.
It's kind of weird to do that, but yeah, I will get to see a version of it today. मैं देख के बताता हूँ कि कैसा रहा experience, and is it worth the hype or whatever. So our last, I think, what else we had in this?
So we have Pakistan Sri Lanka tomorrow, which is going to start.
Yes, Pakistan Sri Lanka. क्या लग रहा है इसका? I think
it's going to be an interesting series. I think it's a 2-match. Yeah.
First test. And
I think, I think Pakistan fans की नजरें ज़्यादातर बाबर आजम, शाहीन अफरीदी, Mohammad Rizwan pe rahengi. I think it's going to be an interesting series. I know Sri Lanka is not the very same team as what they were. Like last time जब Pakistan आई थी Sri Lanka, which is not too long back, I think they drew the series. Pakistan was not successful in winning the series. एक match तो was a cliffhanger where Babar scored a good 100. So there is one battle which I am personally looking forward to, which is going to be Babar Azam versus Prabhat Jayasuriya. I know a lot of Indian cricket fans might not know him. Lekin he's a good, decent left-arm spinner from Sri Lanka. Or Sri Lankan conditions mein to, you know, he's pretty lethal. So I think that's one battle that I would want to look forward to. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep my eyes on this particular series for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the team here, you have Karuna Ratre is probably available there. Yeah, Madhushka, Kushal Mendes is still around. Angelo Mathis is still around. Chandimal Dinesh.
Chandimal is around.
DDS, Dhananjay Silva. Samara Vikrama, Ramesh Mendes, Prabhat Jayasuriya, Dilshan Madhushanka, and Vishwa Fernando / Praveen Jay Vikrama.
It's
Pakistan
not a
is
bad
looking,
team.
It's not a bad team. Batting looks decent. Bowling thing, spin options. यहाँ पे लिखा है कि there's going to be a chance of rain, which we all know in India or this region में भी चल रहा है rain. It could be that you know grounds of even if they start to keep it wet weather, cricket could be slow, could be spinning, could have spin chances, spin this thing, and I think that's what they have Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah, Nawaz, Kaf Salman, Abrar Ahmed. Then you have Sarfraz Ahmed, Babar Azam, Shan Masood, Imam Ulaq, and Abdullah Shafiq. It,
Yeah,
I think it should be
Mohammad
an interesting
Rizwan
game.
is not playing.
Mohammad Rizwan is not playing.
Yeah.
I think it could be an interesting one to see how Jasuria and Shaheen Shah Afridi play in such an environment where spin may have more conditions fully favorable
More
to
say,
them.
yeah.
But yeah, this should be an interesting game. Do check it out. I think Sri Lanka maybe more favorites, homegrown, home team, knows the conditions better.
55-45 is what I would give. I think
Yeah,
55-45 is what I would give. I mean, Pakistan has bigger stars, you might say. I mean, with the likes of Shaheen Afridi and Babar Azam. Sri Lanka don't have that. Like in Sri Lanka, of course, they're playing in their home, and they did pretty okay when Pakistan came last time. As I said, they drew the series. So I would give 55-45, just a slight edge to Sri Lanka, just because they're playing in home.
yeah. And if you look at the last 5 performances over here, last time these guys played, Sri Lanka won by 246 runs last year. In the second test there. So that's this thing. They, okay, Ireland ke saath khela, they won that. They lost against New Zealand. Understandably, there was a away game. Pakistan, fair enough. They played Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and England, two of the tougher teams. They haven't won anything over the last, 6 months, you can say. Look at it. The last time these guys scored, you had Dhananjay G Silva and Prabhat Jasuria were the player of series. This was the Pakistan's tour of Sri Lanka. So if you look at it, last time you had the similar team. ठीक है, Diquila भी नहीं है. But you had, and Fernando is no longer there, Asita Fernando, but you had Prabhat Jasuria and Ramesh Mendis were there. And yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, they all had good scores back then. Prabhat Jasuria took 3 wickets, Ramesh Mendis took 5 wickets. Dhananjay scored again last time a century. Karunanath scored a 50. It's not that these guys don't know how to play. They've been here before. But between Prabhat Jasuria and Ramesh Mendis, they've just cleaned up Pakistan last time they played around. So should be interesting. Surprisingly, I think the same venue, Gal. We'll see if Sri Lanka is able to repeat the performance what they had done last time. Should be a good game though. Should be a good game.
Should be a good game.
I think we had Ashes अभी 2 दिन में शुरू होगा, if I remember right. Yeah, 3-4 दिन में later this week.
Yeah.
So I think that's
so we have it on 19th.
Yeah. That's
so
pretty much it. We have MLC going on. We have our Vitality Blast. I think just happened the finals. Somerset won that. Baki, the focus is really Ashes. Or and whatever the
So I'm kind of looking forward to. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, the next game is basically India and West Indies is playing a second test in the day after Ashes. Port of Spain.
I really don't care.
Just pretty much an India ground. India has records at Port of Spain. Sunil Gavaskar has records there, and India has records there. But this should be. I probably will watch Ashes more than this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking forward. I'm looking more forward to Pakistan versus Sri Lanka rather than India and West Indies. So that's the
that I think sums up the game how India and West Indies played.
Right. एक तो West Indies के साथ हो रहा है, West Indies की almost. I don't know, what do you say? I mean, we can just close by this. Where do you see West Indies going? I think maybe you can sum it up in a sentence or two. I think it might be premature to say. I think it's over. It's over.
Yeah, I think West Indies as a team are kind of done. They have not qualified for the World Cup for the first time, by the way. It's never happened before. They need an overhaul of the entire system. And unfortunately, and I think India should look at West Indies very carefully. West Indies players also prioritize T20 over one days and tests.
That's true.
And
that's true.
West Indies is basically an India team without the money of India. So
I think West Indies may एक structural problem ये आ गई थी, which was there from a long time. And I remember Tony Cozier way back talking about it, and I think एक problem ये आ गई थी, kids starting they were not playing cricket, and थोड़ा NBA का infiltration हो गया था वहाँ पे on the Caribbean islands or culture, and kids started to play basketball. So cricket का थोड़ा culture kind of receded, almost started to recede almost 10 to 15 years back, and possibly that's what you're seeing. I mean, you hardly saw people in the stands.
Yeah.
I think third day में थोड़े लोग आए थे, बहुत थोड़े. I mean, it's pretty disappointing to where West Indies was and where it is right now. I mean, we don't have to go too back as in 70s, 80s. I mean, when I started to watch cricket, I mean, in the mid 90s, West Indies was still a formidable force.
They were. You had Brain Lara, Chandar Paul, Carl Hooper, Richie Richardson. I'm not talking about 80s West Indies. I'm talking 90s, 1996 West Indies team. You had Curtly Rambos, Franklin Rose. Even well until 2000s, you had players coming in until Carlos Brathwaite till T20. Somewhere down the line, politics भी इनका effect हुआ है in terms of how the player contracts, the corruption scandal, the way they handled the 2007 World Cup. It was supposed to be the the rejuvenation of the World Cup for West Indies. I think it's a sad scenario what happened to West Indies. I think cricket needs to learn that you can fall down even if you are at the top if you don't actually manage your board and administration and governance well. And West Indies is a really good example of that. England is an opposite example of West Indies. England was actually on the opposite side of the dumps in 90s and 2000s when Atherton was there at the start of it, and then you had Paul Collingwood, Adam Holyoke. That was the era where England actually was pretty poor across the format. And you can see how governance quickly changed, and you had Ashley Giles, and then you had Scottick, Alistair Cook, and now you see the modern generation of Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum joining the group over the year or two. West Indies needs an overhaul. मुझे लगता नहीं है कहीं दिख नहीं रहा कि कहाँ पे होगा. It's bleak days. I think, and I think looking at what I'm seeing with India and West Indies, I mean, I'll not too much go and bash India here. मुझे लगता है कि India will stop also prioritizing West Indies. They can send kids and all because उनको लगता है कि यार क्या जाना है विराट कोहली को यहाँ West Indies में. We might as well sit at home.
They should have done that.
They should have done that actually in the first place. कि क्या इनको इतना इंडिया से इतना दूर फ्लाइट में भेज के might as well give the kids an opportunity. That's a great, as good as an India A team could go to West Indies and beat West Indies. It's that dire scenario there. Unfortunate, but it is the reality of cricket. Hope India does better this time, at least in terms of providing the value of cricket. But I think our eyes will be on Ashes, third test, fourth test. We'll see how that goes.
It's going to be a banger.
It's going to be a banger, absolute banger.
Yeah,
all right. Great. Thank you so much for listening and again watching in. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Yeah, we'll come back again with one more version or one more video in future. I'll let you all know. मेरा experience कैसा जाता है. मैं पहली बार after 10 years I'm going to a cricket stadium. Now granted, Grand Prairie Stadium कोई India के comparison तो है नहीं. I think it's what 7,000 seater stadium. But देखते हैं कि what's the experience out here in this part of the world. I'll let you know, Saurav, and I'll give a quick snap of what that looks in the next video.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll sign off here.
Sure.
We'll talk later. Until then,
sign off.
Take care, everyone.
Alvida. Bye.